Luke Belmar, the 27-year-old entrepreneur, the man who came from a third world country looking for more, the biohacker, the guy who cleaned toilets and waited tables just to get an edge, the man who was looking to build a club full of like-minded individuals with millions, if not billions, of dollars. Luke Belmar, the man who was saving us without even knowing it. I came across Luke in November of 2022 when I stumbled across a clip of him talking to Fresh from Fresh and Fit about health and nutrition.
I'm conscious. Bro, think about the most basic common things that everybody has. Eating, sleeping, exercising, the most basic element. When was the last time, bro, that you were like, I feel hungry, I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna diet, I'm gonna fast.
On a plane, I can move.
So let me tell you this one, bro. What if what you're experiencing isn't actual hunger? What if what you're experiencing is addiction?
The way Luke talked captivated me like no other person had ever captivated me. The last person I got this type of feeling from was Hamza. The way Luke expressed himself and talked with such confidence and seamlessness, you could tell that he knew something that we didn't. That he knew something, didn't want to say too much, but was ready to spill all the beans. I immediately started trying to find all the content I could on Luke Belmar. All the podcasts, all the videos, all the live streams. I watched everything I could. I still do watch everything I can. He uploads semi-consistently to YouTube and occasionally in live streams on YouTube and Instagram. But if I'm going to be honest with you, the place where you'll find all his secrets, all the sauce, is in the podcasts he does. But before we get into all that, who is Luke Belmar? Some call him an entrepreneur. Some call him a guru. Some call him a biohacker. Some people call him delusional even. But who is he really? Luke Belmar grew up in Argentina with his mother, father, and siblings. It is unclear how many siblings Luke has exactly, but I can confirm for sure that he has at least two, Nate and Josh Belmar. You see, Luke knew that there was more to life, that there was more to be had, and that the only way he was going to see the world and look for that missing piece was if he left his home. If he left his home in Argentina to go to America. The only problem was he had no money. His family was poor. All he had was $100. But he knew that it was all he needed. So what did he do? He snuck on a plane and flew to America. Well, he didn't sneak onto a plane, but he didn't pay for it. His uncle was a pilot of the plane, and he sat where the flight attendants sit. So at 16 years old, Luke was alone in a first world country, and that's where he started his journey. Luke worked in restaurants, newspapers, and toilets. The guy was out on a journey to find the truth. He started off by going state to state, getting any job that could give him value. And I'm not talking about monetary value. You see, Luke, knowing that there was more out there, he knew he had to look for it in unusual places. He had to work unusual jobs. Some may think of him working as a waiter to be meaningless if he wanted to become rich, but Luke looked at it differently. He knew he needed money, but he had to provide value, and he had no value to give and no connections. Most people start off with learning on how to give value, then making those connections. But Luke sort of did the opposite, but not really at the same time. He worked at these 5-star places where the rich would go, and he made his connections, and he learned about what he needed to do to give value. He learned who did what, who the casuals were, what businesses they ran, but most importantly, he learned what they needed. There's no use in being the best at a certain skill when no one has a use for that skill. While Luke was bouncing around the country, the good old US of A, he kept track of the markets, saw what was going up, what was going down. He eventually got introduced into the world of dropshipping and started making some real money. I'm talking thousands upon thousands a day. Even though he's making thousands a month through e-commerce, he was still sleeping on a couch with roommates, and he even slept in his car at times, knowing that he had to save his money and not spend it if he wanted to get wealthy. Not just rich, but wealthy. Soon Luke came across trading and cryptocurrency. This was Luke's next step into wealth. When he heard about Bitcoin, it was around 2017. The first time I actually heard about it too. But the difference between me, you, and Luke is that Luke did something about this new knowledge. He researched about this new currency and saw that it was here to stay, that he can make some serious money out of it. He started regularly putting money into it, and eventually he advanced into trading crypto rather than doing e-commerce. Luke had already made enough money to sustain him for decades and for his kids as well. And by this time he was in his mid-20s, but he trusted that crypto was a move to multiply his money, so much so that he dumps basically all of his money into crypto, not leaving any money left just to sit and inflate. That was during 2020. A year later, Luke had successfully 40x'd his net worth. Luke was so deep into crypto that in one of the biggest exits he literally had 10% of an entire cryptocurrency. Yeah, 10%. He ended up getting a tattoo of the cryptocurrency. This cryptocurrency was PancakeSwap. So Luke made enough money to keep him living well for life. What was his next step? He wanted to become a boss. He stopped worrying about the 100K days and started worrying about the $10 million once a year contracts. He started worrying about his health too. Then in 2022, he spawned into the social media scene and made a boom, to say the least. Andrew Tate had been popping the whole year, and when Luke was first seen with him, it immediately turned heads towards the Argentinian. Luke was officially on the radar. Live streams, videos, and podcasts all put Luke on the map. We know that Luke had been on social media for a few years before this, literally Instagram live streaming to like 19 people at a time, but this was when he was finally getting some big recognition. During late 2022 and early 2023, Luke Belmar started dropping some real sauce on us. Pause. He was going on podcast after podcast talking about the markets, about becoming a glitch, about how to truly free yourself. He hung out with Fresh and Fit, the Tate brothers, and so many others. We saw him travel the globe and drop nuggets of information while doing it. Luke brings a different personality to what we've seen before. The guru who is sort of cocky at times, and I don't say that to offend or look down on him. When I say cocky, I really just mean confident. Before Tate and Luke, we never really had a confident person who actually knew what they were talking about, lived the life that they promoted, and actually advertised it. Luke brought a new perspective to the game. And that's what I really appreciate about Luke. He brings a new perspective. Fun fact about Luke Belmar, he was happy cleaning toilets. Luke knew that every single step that he took was a step towards freedom. He knew that eventually, if he kept on doing the right things and learning from his mistakes, he would make it to the point that he always wanted to get to. He didn't want to clean those toilets every day, but he knew that he needed the money. And at the time, he wasn't worth anything more than a janitor. Luke knew that he had to go to hell and back, so why not embrace the heat? One thing that I've learned from watching so much of Luke is that basically everything is a lie and everything is fake. Everything has been placed in a certain way so that whoever is placing the pieces is in a position to win. Luke doesn't believe that money is real, but rather than belief in money is what gives it the value. That in its essence, money is nothing but numbers on a screen. Something only means something if you give it power. If you believe that money is real, then it is real and it can have a hold on you. But if you believe that it isn't real, then gang, it doesn't take as much effort as everyone says it does. And that if you have enough of anything, then it doesn't really matter anymore. Money will never have a hold on you ever again if you have enough of it. The man Luke Belmar should have never made it. He's from Argentina, didn't have any money, and was destined to work a 9-to-5 his whole life. I shouldn't be making this video on him, and you shouldn't even know his name. All of that, and yet I am making a video on him. He is a millionaire, and you do know his name. All of these variables, and yet we forgot to account for his vision. We forgot that he thought bigger and went out to get his. Luke Belmar isn't here if he doesn't think big. If our guy who was literally meant to be a random number in our population of 8 billion makes it to be a multi-millionaire, who on earth is to say that you can't think big and be a multi-billionaire? Think big and aim high. Ever since I started following Luke Belmar, I felt a different type of motivation and inspiration. Luke has shown me that no one should take anything for face value, and that if someone has done it before you, then you can definitely do it. Thinking that you aren't good enough, that you are going to fail, that nothing is going your way, it's all pointless. If you want to breed success, you need to live like it. You can't just sit around waiting for something to happen. Sitting down thinking that someone else is going to do some good for you. If someone does some good for you, it either makes them feel good or benefits them. People need to go out and get theirs, because someone is always watching, trying to get yours from you. Ever since watching Luke tell Fresh about how bad fast food and soda is for you, I've never looked at things the same way again. I have become more weary of the things I put in my body, what I put in my body, never eating anything for the sake of pleasure without thinking about what the implications of it might be. My life as a whole has changed for the better ever since listening to what Luke has to say. The question is now, how is your life going to change after learning all this information? Start working, stay healthy, get wealthy. May the Creator favor you. Yeah.